It's time for Who Watch, Time and Relative Blackness in Space.
Black girls have the box.
Hi everyone, it's Bayana and Robin coming to you live from the Time Vortex. We've lost Connie somewhere in time and space, but we hope to find her by next week.
Today, we're discussing episode 3 of Doctor Who Season 10, Thin Ice. In this episode, the Doctor is 2,000 years old, Bill is blackety black, and Nardole is very, very cross.
Yes, I have so many thoughts, let's just jump in.
Lots of thoughts.
So many thoughts. When I was, texting you, as soon as it started, well, we even did this the day before, because you had been like, guys, I think this episode's gonna do a thing. And we were like, is it gonna do a thing?
Is it gonna really do a thing?
It reminds me of our first episode when we were, cautiously optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
I was, on high alert of cautiously optimistic.
I'm cautious and also
optimistic.
More optimistic? Less cautious, more optimistic. Still a little cautious.
Still cautious.
We'll get there. Let's start with some basic stuff. So this episode also had a lot of callbacks to earlier episodes. And I think the most obvious one, and it's less of a callback and more just it was similar, was The Beast Below from season 5, which was it was the same kind of thing. There's this big monster alien thing, although it wasn't really clear. We never figured out whether or not the thing in the river was an alien or just a really large monster.
Right, because I have things about that.
Yeah, which I think is a fine. Yeah, we should talk about that. But yeah, so it was a similar kind of premise to that. But then also the Fires of Pompeii, I was reminded of that because kind of the interactions between the Doctor and Bill reminded me a bit of the interactions between the Doctor and Donna, especially the moments where Bill is kind of coming to this realization that it's not all fun traveling with the Doctor. And we had in the last episode, we had killer robots, but I think that because they were in the future and on a different planet, there's so many other things to kind of keep it exciting.
And they were kind of
versus
hunted, as opposed to into the goings on. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
I guess it's the same thing, but I was going to say, and I want you to keep going, but I think it's really interesting because I did really catch The Beast Below, but I didn't get the references to the Fires of Pompeii until I saw your notes, and I was like, oh yeah, and especially the beginning of the episode is where I really felt that Fires of Pompeii callback.
Where suddenly she's oh shit, this is real, this, and then especially when you bring in the fact that they're in the past, and she's okay, what can I influence, and what do I have to leave alone, how fragile is time, and can we do something, and then you say we can do something, then let's do something, you know what I mean, and trying to reason with the Doctor, but also still trying to get past it, just thinking of traveling with him as amazing. It's also terrible, and there are really sad things that happen and dangerous things.
It's not vacation the way that I think most companions start off thinking of it as oh, we're gonna go have fun, and there is that moment where the Doctor's I don't have the luxury of grief, I don't have the luxury of anger, I have to move on, I have to make a decision and keep going. And then Bill has to say, okay, in order to travel with him, I also don't have the luxury of getting stuck in this horrific, you know what I mean, I can't let my emotions paralyze me because things are moving, so
right. Exactly. So then the other episode that it reminded me of And I'm glad that they did it. It reminded me of the beginning of the Shakespeare Code, which is season 3. So that's the first episode where Martha Jones, our other Black companion, goes into the past.
Right.
And I felt like they handled that in this episode way better than they handled it in the Shakespeare Code, which is also one of my favorite episodes. I just might add, I really love that episode. But the way that they like brushed off Martha's race in that episode was really frustrating and like felt fake and like didn't feel realistic. Versus in this one, there's like much more of an acknowledgement of like the danger that Bill is in, like not even counting the aliens, the possible aliens and time and all that kind of stuff. Like literally she's in the past and she's Black. So she's not safe.
Right.
And I think that acknowledging that and really saying it as opposed to it just being like a thing that was written off, like, oh no, it'll be fine. Look, there's Black people walking over there. Versus like saying in this one, like, yeah, it is dangerous. I'm not really sure how to make it not dangerous. There are other people of color here. That's cool. But like, it's still clear that she's not in a space that's like safe for her.
And I think too, the other thing that I really liked about that, how they did it differently in 2 ways, is I feel like in the Shakespeare Code, it was like 2 or 3 Black girls or Black people walk by, and we're just supposed to infer from that, then like, okay, Martha's not in danger of being like sold into slavery, even though she totally was in danger of being kidnapped and sold into slavery. But like,
my dude,
having the doctor say, you know, history is whitewash, I was like, damn, they really went there. Because there's one of my favorite Tumblrs is Medieval POC, and it shows like people of color in medieval times. And this isn't obviously medieval times, but it does go a long way of saying, like, our people of color have always been there. It's just a matter of, like, representation and being shown. And Bill being like, I didn't know the past was this Black. Like, and it's true. We hear about, and like, when we study the past, we hear about slavery and then civil rights. And I don't know exactly what it's like in Britain, like, historical classes or whatever, but it seems to be probably the same thing where you hear about like subjugation and then we all came to our senses and everything's equal and fine now, right? And it's like there was always people of color moving around, just like in the whole history of American slavery, there were free Black people moving around, but it was dangerous, and you had to have your, like, reminds me a little bit of Kindred. Like, you had to have your papers on you. You had to, like, you had to know where you could go and who you could talk to and, like, where and when you would be okay. And and I just really liked, it was one line, and they got back into the plot, you know, and the episode wasn't about that, but in that one line, like, you did get, like, I don't know, it was just, it made me actually go and, like, look up, like, it was like, I was like, did a POC, it was that, and then also the fact that Bill said low-key, which I was like, did a person
I was wondering if, like, there was a person of color who wrote this, or was, like, in the writer's room, or who, like, influenced this in any kind of way, but also, like, I think that, I don't know, I'm glad that they also then brought it up at the end, with Sutcliffe, and, like, showing racism, right? Just saying it is one thing, and it does, like, I think also the way that the doctor reacted was also, I don't know, it validated Bill's fear versus, like, I don't know, I think the 10th Doctor was really excited to just, like, be, you know, he's showing off, so he's like, oh, no, look, there's Black people, we're cool, let's go, Shakespeare, you know, versus, like, the 12th Doctor, he, like, really stopped and was like, oh, shit, you're right, okay, this is gonna be a different thing. And then when Sutcliffe comes through and has, like, a real, like, visceral, like, racist-ass reaction, then the doctor's like, oh, what you're not gonna do. And so I think that bringing it back towards the end and having that tie into the plot and actually, like, matter, I think that was really important.
I also think, too, that it showed that the doctor did say explicitly this episode that he's 2,000 years old, but it also showed, like, one thing I got from the Shakespeare Code was, like, well, the doctor's traveling around all the time, so he is not even, like, to him, he's not shocked by that, like, And I'm also thinking about, like, the family of blood, where, I mean, he's not the doctor then, but, like, he's not swayed by racism. It's like he fits in very easily.
But he also doesn't say anything.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, he fits in very easily, and he doesn't, like, it doesn't seem like he is empathetic of what Martha is going through or the microaggressions that come against her or whatever. And in this one, it was like, oh no, the doctor is modern. Like, he's traveling around, and he goes back to the past. My dude is like
what an ally needs to be versus the, like, 10th Doctor was like, oh, I'm cool with black people, and, like, they're great, and, like,
and that's all you need to know.
And then shit actually goes down, and he's like, that's interesting, I'm just gonna go, look at that wall, that's a nice wall. It's a nice color, too, also. Real smooth. Interesting. Something happened, Martha? I'm sorry.
I didn't notice.
What?
I was looking at the wall.
I didn't catch that. The wall, It's really nice. Rose would have also appreciated this wall, by the way. I don't know why you're not paying attention to the wall. Rose would have really appreciated it. Yes. This color?
Rose with her nice blonde hair, Martha. Martha, have I told you about Rose? Do you know about Rose, Martha?
She would know exactly why I like this wall so much. But you're good, right? Yeah? You're good?
You're awesome. Good. It's past. It's over now. Let's move on.
Time and space. I really appreciated that. I also want to just point out R.I.P. Pete.
Right?
You know?
And
he reminded me of Rory a little bit. He was only mentioned. We don't know Pete, but I was like, oh damn, he doesn't exist anymore? Damn.
He never existed.
I know someone who I was like, oh. He's somewhere with Roman Rory.
Aw, Rory. Rory got treated so bad. Rory got treated so bad. Rory died like 3 episodes in a row.
My dude died like 10 times.
But like in a row though. Like 3 episodes.
I was watching season 5 and I was like, okay, so this is the third. He's not even a actual main character. He's a recurring character who has died 3 times.
My dude.
And the last time he doesn't even exist.
He doesn't even exist. That's the thing. Damn. Rory died twice. And then on the 3rd time, they're like, you know what? This dying thing got old. We're going to erase you from existence. You just...
Yeah.
Oh, that girl you're going to marry? Oh, yeah, she don't remember you. It's over. I was like, damn. I really enjoy the long Pete joke. I like a good joke that spans. I really liked I don't know, I feel like, okay, 2 things. I feel like there should, like, hashtag Bill questions needs to be a thing and that it should trend every week. Like, I just feel like Bill's questions are now becoming...
So many good ones.
Yeah, and they're becoming, like, the thing that I'm,
She even started, I feel like the first thing she said in this episode was, I have questions.
Right.
Or, like, close to the first thing she said. She was like, I have questions.
Right, because then she was
of course you do, Bill.
Because she pointed at herself.
Please ask those.
Melanin?
Because he was like, you ready? He was like, oh, we're going. You're excited to go? And he's like, you're not? And she's like, it's 1814. I'm...
Melanin.
You see the color of my skin?
The hair, the whole...
Am I safe?
Also, the hair...
I look like... Okay.
With the accessory...
The little, I know.
Flower, feather.
I was really feeling her dress.
Her dress was, yes. And her, like,
And then the little jacket.
The jacket with the... I was feeling real Jane Austen, Regency era. Whew. Bill. This is when we miss Connie a lot, because I want to hear what she has to say, too. But Bill's questions are just so good. And I check for them now. Like, something will happen, and then I'm like, Bill better have a question, and it better be great. And then it is. So way to go, guys. Way to go, writers in the Doctor Who writing room. Like, another thing is, okay, so like I said, I was really, in the first 5 minutes, I was like, did a person of color write this? And like we said, like, hopefully there was someone in the writing room or whatever. It was written, or the person that got credit for it was Sarah Dollard. And she's, I wonder about, like, being a woman, does that have something to do with getting it right? And she's also younger. So, like, the you know, low-key, the usage of low-key just makes more sense. Because I was like... Stephen Moffat doesn't say low-key. That doesn't get written down in a Stephen Moffat script, you know? But, like, she also wrote Face the Raven, which was another, like, good, young, black character. Rigsy is in that. So I think that she's kind of got...
That's true.
A good be on
Riggsy. Oh, I hope Riggsy comes back.
And I think that again, still cautiously optimistic. She's a white woman. I think she's Australian too, which is really interesting. I went in. I kind of started to do a lot of research because I was like, how did this episode happen?
Yeah.
Bill Anderson directed it, and he also directed some MI5, which is one of my fave shows. And there was a movie made that I got Bayana to watch because Jon Snow was in it.
I only watched it because Jon Snow was in it. And actually, I didn't even know. I, saw it, and I was like, this is a tangent. Hey, is this our first
This is
tangent?
our first tangent.
Awesome.
With alliteration.
This is great. This is awesome. Okay, so anyway, I saw the movie, and I was like, Kit Harington is in the spy movie. I'm watching this. And then I told Robin, and she was like, oh, it's MI5. Of course. We're going to watch this. And then it was awesome.
Yeah. MI5, also known as Spooks, which they had to change the name because Spooks is a racial slur. So that's how we, see, full circle. And I didn't even know that. I was like, why'd they change the name? And then my mom was like, I was telling my mom about this show that I really like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, they changed the name, just so dumb, because, they call spies spooks in Britain. Isn't that so British? And my mom was like, yeah, they changed the name. It can't be naming the show Spooks. And I was like, why? I don't get it. I don't understand. And that's how I learned history of racial slurs.
Great. So, so I think that, coming out the TARDIS tangent.
Yep. Back into...
I mean, I don't know. I think she did really well. I think there is something to be said about having more women in the writer's room and directing this show.
And youth, I think, too.
Very many. And youth.
I think one thing about Russell T. Davies and Stephen Moffat, and even I would go to say Gaddis, is that they are really tied to classic Who. And so I think that there are a lot of people, and I'm not sure, I would have to, triple check, but just looking at pictures of Sarah Dollard or whatever, I would assume that she's more tied to New Who. You know what I mean? New Who's 10 years old now, so that, she could have been in high school or early college when she discovered Doctor Who and then started writing for them. That is a plausible timeline. So I think that there is something, too, about celebrating what is now instead of so much classic.
Right.
I don't know if that made any sense.
I agree. I mean, I'm also still curious about, how many people of color they have writing for them or just, on the back end of the show and, just in general. I do think, part of that is what makes me, why I'm still, a little cautious. I'm cautious to give them too much praise because I feel like they did the bare minimum, and I feel like that's what you should expect anytime there's a Black person traveling back in time. It's real, yes, you're not safe. Let's make that clear and acknowledge that. But I also don't want to, be too, they, went in on racism and, they're hella lit and woke now. Because they're really not,
stuck to the plot.
And white as fuck. And, there's just and I think that, it's great on the one hand because, right now, Bill is kind of killing it. She's amazing. And I really do think that, us, I don't know, not really expecting much from that, especially given, how they treated Martha. I don't know. I think I'm trying to, be really happy about what they did in this episode, but also not give them too many props just because,
right. I think
they could have been doing this all along, and who knows if they'll continue to do it, and if, you know what I mean? Because sometimes, especially Moffat, he's the king of being look at this awesome, brilliant thing I did. I'm going to pat myself on the back and then move on with whatever the fuck I want to do. So,
Right. Getting back to Bill, I think I want to talk about now, the episode. And
you just want to go into Bill Phils, or?
I mean, kind of. Yes.
Okay. That's fine.
She, from the start of the episode, she came out swinging with, I have questions. The TARDIS has dresses. I think I'm in love with her. She said, I low-key think I'm in love with her, which then the doctor replied, me too, of which her is the TARDIS.
Us too.
And then, I was and then we replied, us too. We're all in love with the TARDIS. That's the doctor's girl, but we all love her.
We all love her.
And the reoccurring, you don't know how to steer this thing? Why are we not home? What's going on here? Like, yeah, she has dresses and she loves trouble. I think I'm in love with her. I think Bill solidified, like I said earlier, like the questions, being very questioning, but also being very skeptical of not just like what's happening, but also of the doctor. And so I think there is this moment, especially when she sees how the doctor reacts to the kid going under the ice. I forget his name. Pippin? No. Perry?
No. Spider.
Spider. When Spider goes under the ice and the doctor grabs the sonic screwdriver, and his first thing is like, oh, let's check to make sure it's okay and like get out of here. I think Bill was like skeptical of, okay, we've traveled now, like, or we've had this weird encounter with liquid spaceship, and then we've gone to the future and we had this like scary encounter with these robots, and now we're out in the past, and like this seems like old hat for you, and this seems like you should at this point you should be freaked out too that this is like the third time some ish has gone down, right? And like, and then her reaction to like seeing death, which was very Harry Potter to me. Like, he was like, we were just in a garden of dead people, and she's like, but they were already dead. They I didn't see that, you know?
Right. Which is true, right? Like, they weren't, not only were they already dead, they were like skeletons.
Right.
Right. Like, she didn't see
a dead body.
She saw that kid get sick, which was a freaking like, damn, Doctor Who, y'all just
taking kids.
You're drowning kids now? That's
right.
Okay.
Right.
That was
the other thing I was thinking about too was that scene really reminded me of The Empty Child, and the girl whose name I should have written down.
Kitty. I wrote it down.
Kitty was very much like
Nancy.
Right? Look at you.
Her name was Nancy?
Her name was Nancy. You're just on top of it.
I actually wasn't sure about that one.
No, her name was Nancy. And she kind of like leads the other kids, even though Nancy was much older and like had a kid. But Bill's reaction and stuff to that, I thought like was really well written and really believable, because I think it's one thing to travel, right? Like, you go on vacation, you don't see the like grit of a place. Like, sometimes you try to, right? But you're only there for a couple of days or whatever. You're passing through. You want to go to like Nando's and get some chicken. You don't want to like get like sucked into the like under the lake. You know what I mean? And like all of a sudden there's like children being eaten. And then you definitely don't want all of that to happen. And the guy who you're traveling with is like, well, what's next? And you're just like, whoa, dude, can we process? I need to process. So those are like great Bill fills.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the, like, just seeing her reaction, and then like her getting angry, right? Like, she's like, what do you mean? Like, how old? Like, I don't know. I feel like with the doctor, we've already gone through this process of him, like, really with the 50th anniversary of him kind of like reckoning with his past and finally like coming to terms with that. And now we're seeing him like post all of that. And so he's, I don't know, I think it's like kind of a good and the bad, right? Like, he knows all the stuff, the devastation that he's left in his wake, and he's like probably semi-forgiven himself. Also, Gallifrey's back at this point. So yeah, so he's forgiven himself. But at the same time, like, that it's like, it's maybe he's like just, he's continuing to forgive himself for all the other stuff that goes down, like, after the fact, you know what I mean? Like, and I think Bill coming in and she still doesn't know that, well, I guess, this is so weird, right? Because he's no longer the last of his kind, really, technically. He hasn't killed the Time Lords. The Daleks are still around. That memory. So, I know, and so that's, now I'm really curious about that, because, like, yeah, he still has that memory, and that was still, like, trauma that he had to go through, but, like, he's found Gallifrey, he's talked to them, you know what I mean? Like, he's interacted with them now in New Who, and so I'm curious, because that happened last season, so I'm curious about how that comes back into play. I don't know, it was such a huge part of his identity in New Who, and so I'm really curious on, like, how... Like, what does he tell Bill about his people? And, like, how does... You know what I mean? I feel like we're starting to kind of see... And I feel like as we go further into the season and like in the next seasons, we'll be able to kind of see more about how that's affected him. And I don't know. My brain isn't really like
wrapped.
I feel like that's not coherent just because I didn't think about that.
Well,
like,
I think
you're
too,
no longer the
like,
last of your kind. And
we have tons of, I think beyond the last of his kind thing, right? But I think that was an emotional thing that was unique to the Doctor. But what I think is not unique to the Doctor, and we have tons of like stories about immortals and how they deal with like just life going on. Even having me, Ashilda in the last season, like, life goes on and people die and you're still there, and so your grieving process does shorten because you can't it's the whole of someone's life in comparison to the Doctor's life is like a week, so he can't imagine if he grieved with the same strength as like humans. Like, he wouldn't be able to function, right? So, like, I think that there is something about the Doctor and being the last of his kind and that toll and that emotional thing. But I think this is different. I just think that, like, for the Doctor, even beyond Gallifrey and all of that stuff, to see a human life end, even a young child, even in that way, is just, like, he processes it much faster because, one, like he said in this episode, like, he's seen it a lot. He's seen people die, and he has killed people, and he doesn't want to. It's never, like, his go-to, thing. He tries to avoid it at all costs.
Right, I mean, like, she was there when he was like, we're gonna have to blow up this sanctuary. I mean, obviously he stopped it once he realized there are people on board, but he was still gonna kill all those robots.
Right.
Who are basically sentient, like, yeah.
Yeah. And
so then also, like, she's thinking, like, how many people have you killed, right? But it's like, there are a lot of species in the universe, and some of them aren't great. He's killed lots of Daleks. You saw them.
Right. But
I don't want to say it's justified, but, it
was kind of justified. Which is also a great show, by the way. I think that, like, for the companion, there will always be these moments. I think this is the first one for Bill, and I think that was very interesting how they did it. But these moments of he's not human, his reality is different than mine, and his life is going to continue on. Like, there is this moment of, especially if they've seen a regeneration, but in general, like, he's 2,000 years old. I'm 24.
Right.
Right? Like, I think that's how old Bill is, right? So, like, that is literally nothing. Like, I am a second to him. Like,
yeah.
I can't even put that, like, thought, like, I can't wrap my brain around that thought, and I'm just watching it. Like,
And then you start to think also about, like, where he spent that time, right? So, like, towards the end of Amy and Rory's, like, run with the Doctor, they were talking about, oh, yeah, we think it's been, like, 10 years traveling with you. But really, it's been, like, 3. For, like, in linear time, it's been 3 years. They're like, yeah, we've aged, like, 10 years. So, like, that's the other thing, because then you start thinking about, like, all, like, his timeline is totally different from hers. So, to the point where, like, he's 900 just to 7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
For her, like, so I think it also gets really complicated when then you think about, like, his personal timeline and then, like, her timeline. And time is awesome.
Time is awesome.
Pretty much.
So,
time is awesome.
What's up with the vault and Nardole?
Yeah, I am not sure. There was some knocking.
And he was talking back to it.
Oh.
Is it Clara?
No. We're going to get 2 masters in this season.
Right.
I forgot about that.
Oh, right. Oh,
so
and the knocking.
It's like, but it wasn't 4 knocks, was it? Oh, fuck. I
don't know.
Shit, can I pause it and go check real quick?
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Damn
you
it.
just have to keep going.
Oh, I can't remember.
We'll check it out
Somebody
next week.
tell us if it was 4 knocks. I don't even think that's... I saw the next time on... I don't think we're going to see the vault next week. At least not that's not the main story. Which I checked because the next week's episode is called Knock Knock, and I was like, well, wait a minute, we're getting this quicker than I thought we would, but we're really not. But what if it's both masters?
Missy?
Or what if it's like Missy and then, or what if it's, I don't even know. I feel like it has to do with them though.
Yeah.
Cause
it's gonna be interesting.
I'm trying to remember the last time we saw Missy.
Like, what is this oath? Because Nardole was real upset.
And like, maybe it's, Nardole was really upset.
Does that have
and
to
like,
do with the master?
And because that's then what I was wondering is like,
Missy.
is the oath about, because they left Missy on Scarrow, right?
That's what I thought.
I thought they left Missy on Scarrow and I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's been a while. But then like, I could see it being like, oh, we left to, I swore an oath to like leave you in there for some reason that could have to do with Gallifrey or could just have to do with the master being a hot mess and evil and shit. But like, yeah.
Not evil, misunderstood.
Just a little bit. Tried to turn everyone into Cybermen. Turned everyone into himself, which was weird. Killed the president of the United States on camera. Turned the last humans into the Tackle But the Doctor forgave him for that, though. I don't know if anyone remembers, because he's God. I forgive you. I only have one thing to say to you. Sorry, let me stop. That episode was a lot. We talked about that. Talked about that last episode.
You love 10.
I love 10. Don't love. I actually don't really like the Master like in that run very much. I'm excited to see him in this one. Like I'm excited to see like now, because it's like nostalgic, and I love to see Time Lords interact with themselves. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite. But I don't know that it was really the Master's fault. It was just the writing.
No.
All of a sudden, he eats everything, and he has a glowy skeleton and eats people, and there's a lot happening.
There's a lot going on. Yeah. So, do we want to do quotes from the TARDIS now? Because we're not going to figure out what Nardole was all in arms about, or the not.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Quotes from the TARDIS. I told you don't steer the TARDIS. You reason with it. How? Unsuccessfully most of the time.
I think I'm low-key in love with her, which is Bill to the TARDIS and all of us. Bill standing in is all of us.
It's not really wrestling if it's not in zero gravity with tentacles. I love, like, random shit the Doctor says, because most of the time it's showing off, but it also makes no sense, like, in any context. So you're really sitting there like, what? Huh?
He's so Dumbledore that way.
But what are you saying?
He's so Holiday Dumbledore. It's just like, what is your life, dude? What is your, like, day-to-day existence? Mm-hmm. That you were watching zero gravity wrestling with tentacles. Who does that?
Who?
Where they do that at? I don't get it. Regency England, a bit more black than in the movies. So is Jesus. History's a whitewash. Love that.
We
talked about that.
We talked about it, but still, you're right.
But when he said so is Jesus, her eye, she did this little like, okay.
You met Jesus. Right, that, and also like, you met Jesus?
Have you met Jesus?
You know Jesus Christ? How is it a screwdriver in a very broad sense? How is it sonic? It makes noise. Which I feel like, I love the screwdriver. Fuck the sunglasses. They really tried to make us buy some sunglasses. And we were all like, and I was like, these are some, you could buy, these are some basic ass plastic sunglasses you could just get from the kiosk. Sunglasses. At the mall. Like, why? They're so, they were so annoying. Like, and even when they did like cool stuff, I was just like, nah, I don't like them. I don't want it. Why are you pushing these sunglasses on me? Who asked for these? Nobody wants it. No one wants these sunglasses.
Where was the pole?
Like,
as Anna likes to say.
Where's the damn screwdriver?
When people ask for it.
Did people vote for the screwdriver? For the sunglasses? Because I didn't remember receiving that survey.
You're not British. You're not British.
Okay, well, and if anyone from Britain is listening, was there a questionnaire perhaps sent out like,
listen,
do you still like sonic screwdriver or do you want sunglasses? And if did you vote sunglasses? And if so, why? I just have...
I have a friend that lives in
like
London,
Bill,
and
I have
she
a lot
has
of questions.
no idea. She has no idea about any of this, but what I could do is just be like, hey, if you ever get a census in the mail about Doctor Who, call me right away, because I'm going to take your vote. I was being all down with the kids back there, did you notice? And then Bill says, even my hair was cringing. Loved it.
It was really bad. Because I was like, dude, so you just said hang tight. And, like...
Yeah, he did. And they all looked at him like, I'm sorry?
What? Because this is the wrong...
He said awesome.
Right. I was like,
And
this is not the good... This isn't the right
England,
time. Not the right time zone. Not the right time period at all.
They're like...
And he's like, I'm so cool. And he's like, no, dude,
like,
they have no idea what you're saying.
We don't have any rope. What?
You're
what are we hanging
right. You're so
You didn't finish
so
the plan,
early.
sir.
Which is actually ironic, right? Because usually old people are really late with stuff, but this time he's super early. He's like 200 years early. It's just like, what? What?
I love that. Instead of being like, you're so late, you're so early.
It's just a problem. It's a problem.
Oh. And I also love that because Bill is young, so she also was like, ooh.
Right. And with her, she's
cool
like,
dad.
you're so late because hang tight. Awesome. Those things have been integrated into regular speak now. Like, it's no longer slang. So
You're not down with the kids.
No,
you're not being down with the kids.
You're not being down with the kids. Human progress isn't measured by industry. It's measured on the value you place on a life without privilege. That's kind of abridged because I didn't get the full quote. But like, yeah, I appreciated that
speech.
Like speech.
And then she says, "How old do you have to be to give a speech like that?" Which, yeah, that whole speech was great. It was like the piece where they submit for Emmys. He had another one of those speeches in his first
I really
season.
think they should submit the piece where he punches homeboy in the face. I thought that was the part. Superb acting. This is beautiful.
Also really funny because it's set in like 1814, but also very timely considering we were punching Nazis.
That's what I'm saying.
In 2017.
Can somebody like dub Soulja Boy Tell Him behind that? Yeah, please.
And then the final one, I feel bad because I feel like this one should have gone before the big quote.
It's fine.
But I serve at the pleasure of the human race, which is very West Wing. I serve at the pleasure of the president.
I just thought
that.
about... Yeah.
Go ahead.
I thought like this, that part, which I forgot, I didn't put it up, but it reminded me of that moment in Kill the Moon. That was season 8, right? I think it was season 8.
I don't even know. I don't know titles. But you have to tell me what that's about.
Sorry. So that was the one where the doctor took Clara and her student up to the moon. And then it was like, there was like an alien, the moon is an egg. And there was a moment where he was like, oh, y'all got to figure out what to do. And then he dips, which he did it like, it was, a lot of things in that season didn't make a lot of sense. But the gist of it was like, I can't make this decision for you because I'm not human. And so it's up to humans to make this decision. And in this one, it's also a similar thing where he's like, I mean, I want to say, like, somebody got to get saved, but who's getting saved? And that's up to you. Because I can't. It also reminds me of
the, with Oswald. The
snowman?
Oswald. Huh?
You said the
Zygons.
Oh, not Oz. Good.
Oswin? No, Oswald.
Osgood.
Right?
No, Clara's Oswald and also Oswin. And then there's an Osgood. Thanks, Moffat, for that confusion.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
important. They all had to have the same.
I kept being like, I know it's not Osgood because Osgood's Clara, but
no, switched it. You know what I mean? It's the time of the doctor, the night of the doctor, the day of the doctor, the refrigerator of the doctor. Yeah.
The midnight of the doctor, the dawn of the doctor. Ooh, the dawn of the doctor. That's a good one. You can use that.
Too bad they did all. He did all of those. Sorry.
Yeah, but it kind of reminded me of the Zygons too, which was like, y'all figure it out. If you can't figure it out, then I guess we'll erase your brain until you can. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But it's like
he knows what he wants to happen, but he doesn't want to, impose that on them. Mm-hmm. I think that's really interesting. Yeah. So, any final thoughts from episode 3?
I would like Nardole to not be in the next episode.
Even though there was some meat to his, he did something this time. He was definitely there for a reason.
I just don't care about Nardole. I get it, okay. The doctor, it's a robot, and the doctor got him to help him keep track of the vault and whatever's in the vault. I'm more interested in what's in the vault than Nardole. I get annoyed when I see dude's name in, the opening credits, because I'm like, you don't even go here. That's just me. I feel like he's pushing into Bill's time. And I think I would feel less annoyed if they didn't,
Bill fills and then, Nardole nerves or something.
So I feel like I would feel better about it, and I wouldn't care if he was there if they didn't, hype him up like he was another companion. I think that's my problem. If he was just there, I'd be like, cool, Nardole's fine, he's cool. He probably had cracked a few jokes, I probably would have laughed. But they're like, and Matt Lucas. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? Not I, said the cat.
Is he Bill?
Yeah.
Then it Pearl?
No.
Then no.
And if he gets to be in the next season, I'm gonna be pissed. And Bill doesn't. I'm gonna have.
Okay, let's not go there. You're so early.
I'm cautiously optimistic, guys.
You're so early. I am really excited. I feel... Okay, so here's the thing. It's I feel like season 8, I want to say they had 3 good episodes back to back, and I was like, yes, I'm in here. Maybe it was only the first episode. I'm not sure. But there was I was going to say, did they have 3 back to back? I can think of 2 that I like. I think...
There might have been another
I'm talking
one.
about, the start of the season, and I was like... Or maybe it was season 9.
Oh, yeah.
The start of the season,
right.
I was like,
no.
I am here for it. And then it...
No, that was season 8.
That was season somewhere. 8.
You're right.
And I was like, what?
It was right when Danny got introduced for real, yes. And then it was oh, this is taking a turn I was not expecting. I didn't realize this turn. I didn't vote on it. I wasn't aware. It was not a consensual turn. I would like to go back.
Was there a vote?
Yeah.
I didn't get to vote.
Yeah.
So I'm at the point of nervousness now, like you said, cautiously optimistic, but I'm literally, I'm at this high anxiety level of I am really enjoying this. Do not F it up.
Yeah. Don't
Straight
fuck it up.
RuPaul.
Please don't.
Straight RuPaul. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my coworkers because we had a moment, we both found out we liked Doctor Who, and then as happens when you meet other nerds happened. But a couple days ago, he was like, so do I need to watch seasons 8 and 9? And I was like, yeah, because he had heard that season 10 was really good. Mm-hmm. And I was like, season 8 is not great, but I would watch it. And then season 9 is awesome. I really like season 9 a lot. But season 8 is just garbage. It just, going back and thinking about it makes me mad. I was trying
to tell my nerd bestie about it because she didn't watch it either. Or she watched part of it or whatever. And I was like, yeah, just she was talking to me. Yeah, I think she'd stopped watching, so she didn't watch season 9. And she was talking about Clara, and I was like, yeah, she got better. But they did so much damage to her in season 8 that it,
and I think that's one of the other things about... I think that's one of the other things about Bill, though. Right, I think that's one of the things about Bill, though, was that, we just spent, 3-4 years with Clara, and it was really rocky, and half the people who watch Doctor Who hate her. I never hated her. I was always just y'all are really fucking up her character. You just don't know how to write this character at all. You created her as a plot device, and then after that was oh shit, we can keep her. So now what do we do? But this time with Bill, it's it's so much better that then I kind of get a little mad. Damn, y'all really fucked Clara up.
Right. Someone had said, do you think because Clara went into his time stream that she was very splintered? And I was like, I don't think they went that deep. I just think they didn't know what they were doing.
They didn't know what to do with her.
I don't think it goes that deep. They just didn't know what to do with her. And like you said, Bill seems such a fully formed person. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I felt like Clara did too. Like when you, and then she wasn't. And then she definitely
No, I think
wasn't.
that she started off as like a thing the Doctor needed to solve, and then once that season was over, they were like, okay, now we have to give her a backstory with like in family and like give her her own plot device, and they're like, let's bring in this boyfriend who's gonna talk shit about the Doctor that he just met, knows nothing about. I'm going to show you who he really is. How you've only met him for 5 minutes, but it's cool.
I'm saying, like, the person that Clara was when he was trying to solve her, like, when she was the impossible girl, and, like, he'd still taken her, like, and the kids that she was nannying, like, a couple of places, and, like, they had done things and she felt like a completely realized person. And then, you know, plot happens. Why couldn't she go back to being that person? Like, I just was kept like,
I feel like they changed so much without
time
like
stream, but her like person should still be. I don't know.
Yeah, there were a lot of weird things that happened. I don't know. I just think that they're doing really well right now, and like you said, I'm a little nervous that they're gonna fuck it up, and that's why I keep saying I'm cautiously optimistic because I'm like. These last 3 episodes have been lit. They've been really good. And Bill has been amazing. And I know, like, at the very least, they'll have a Sleep No More. Because season 9 I really liked. Like, I loved...
Sleep No More, though.
But because it was in the middle of a season that was really good. Like, it was pretty solid. And then it happened. And because the season had been so solid leading up to that point, when it happened... I don't know. I was like, am I tripping? Like, did I just miss it? And I because I hadn't had a lot of sleep. I was tired. So I was like, maybe it's just me and I just need to rewatch it. And then I rewatched it and I was like, no, it's like objectively not good. So I'm like, I feel like maybe at least because Doctor Who tends to be like, it's been on so long, there tend to be ups and downs. I don't expect that every episode is going to be perfect, but I do really, really hope that this season kind of, at least generally, is like consistently good.
Right.
And that Bill is consistently like herself. Right. Yeah. It's definitely not a season 2. And yeah.
Yeah. So, on that note, check out blackgirlscreate.org, read Connie's writing at the New York Daily News, and you can follow us, all of us, on Twitter. You can find us at We Black and Nerds. That us being basically me and Bayana together at We Black and Nerds. And you should also watch Game of Thrones with us. We're doing a Game of Thrones rewatch. Hashtag MBGMD. More Black Girls, More Dragons. You can follow Bayana at Yana_Hallows, where you can get some really great gifts and unnecessary feelings on your timeline without asking for them. You can follow me. How many
unnecessary feelings do I tweet, like, in relation to you? Or Connie?
Connie.
I am not the feelings person. I talk about dragons and the robot apocalypse and ice cream. That's what I tweet about. And ice cream.
Oh, but wait, what was the second one?
The robot apocalypse.
Oh, yes. Yes. I have been tweeting so much about the robot apocalypse.
I saw an artificial womb on my timeline last week. I was like, how about we don't do that?
There was a thing that was like soothing a baby, and I was like, y'all just gonna let robots comfort our children?
Yep.
And someone was like, that looks like more of an appliance than a robot. And I was like, that's what they want you to think. Constant vigilance. Stay vigilant.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got me fucked up. I had this whole dream that I was in the framework, and it was so out of pocket that I woke myself up. I was like, nope. And then I just was up at like 4 a.m, just eyes open, like I was starting to get drowsy. You know, you start blinking. I was like, nope, I'm not going back in there. You can't make me go back in there.
That's hella funny. Okay, where can we follow you?
You can follow me at Robin_Ravenclaw, Robin with a Y. I tweet a lot about politics, Harry Potter and the Robot Apocalypse, and Iyanla. I like to retweet Iyanla.
She does like to retweet Iyanla. Tread carefully.
Just to put a little Harry Potter spin on it. And you can follow Connie at Constar24. And hashtag Tarbis to let us know your thoughts. Let us know your favorite Tarbis quotes, or TARDIS quotes. And join our Slack where we have a channel dedicated to conversations about Doctor Who. And thanks for listening.
Yep. You can join us next week when we discuss episode 4, Knock Knock. Basically, Bill moves into a new house, and the landlord in the house is creepy, and the doctor's like, we should check it out. And then, who knows what happens after that. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
The black girls have the box.